First key to a soft painting is, as we've discussed earlier, a very thin but proper layer of base coat. It can be imperfect visually, looking somewhat uneven color-wise, but it has to be thin, and once it's completely dry, we can get to applying the color. I'll take green fabric paint and a medium-sized round brush. Mine is number 8. Now our task is to create the second paint layer as thin as possible. I'm painting right over the base coat, making sure that white paint is completely color blocked. You can notice the black uncovered parts in the center of some leaves. It's the example of that technique which I've shared with you in previous lesson about selective base coat application to achieve the depth of color and visual texture. Center parts on the leaves where there is no white underpainting will appear darker than those which are painted over the base coat. To achieve a thin layer, I'm practically rubbing the paint into fabric, stretching it, making sure that surface is perfectly thin. Thus, I'll move on all over all the leaves. Before proceeding with painting red petals, I'd suggest you to change the water in your cup. While you'll be working with flower petals, the paint layer on your green leaves is gonna be setting and getting ready for the next one. At this stage, if you've accidentally stained with green paint some of the petals, do not worry, it can be fixed with red paint just a bit later. There is no difference between painting petals and leaves. I do, however, paint them one by one, following the shape of each petal. Make sure to stretch the color all the way to the very center of the flower. Don't let any excessive amount of paint to remain on fabric. Scoop it up with the brush and take that excess back to the paint jar or onto palette. Now all this beauty needs to rest and dry. At this stage, if you don't want to wait, you can speed the drying process with a hair dryer. So once you made sure that green paint is completely dry, let's add some deeper or darker shade to those leaves. Here I'm using a dark turquoise color and mixing it with the same medium green for turquoise not to stand out too much. I pick at the reference picture, but basically we just need to add this shade on the major part of leaves. Later we'll add some highlights which will balance the picture. Petals have curves and folds, so they too require shading. Here I mix a kind of a dirty red shade by mixing green and red paints. Less green, more red. And I'll remind you that even these small details we make in thin paint layers. When making highlights on the leaves, you can play around with the shades. Depending on the tone of your red paint, cold or warm, you can choose to mix green with either white paint or yellow. In this way, picture will be color balanced. In case you don't know anything about color tones, I'll give a quick tip. Warm red means that you can guess some yellow shade in it. It can look a bit orangish, hence brighter and warmer. The example from Pebea's Setacolor fabric paints is the following. They have a red color and it is cold, and they also have another shade called vermilion. This one is warm. Cold red looks really red, deep red, with no even hint on yellow, and you'd rather feel it's got some blue tint or none at all. So back to our green leaves. I'm almost done with them. I simply draw a few veins on each leaf with some light strokes using a thinner round brush like number 2. I don't have as a task to make them look too realistic. Highlights for petals are also simple. I'm just going over the parts of petals where there is no darker shades with a light mix of red with a small amount of white. Rotate your garment the way it's convenient for you. t-shirt is off the board, comes the softness test. I'm gonna squeeze this painting so you can see how soft it is. It is absolutely soft. See, I put my hand inside the shirt and you see it's so natural, very easy, very easy to squeeze. Okay, no cracks, everything is beautiful, no faults are forming. Okay, these white lines, they're gonna go after wash. And what I wanted to pay your attention to is that not only because of the thin layers, yeah, this I can feel, but also because of these areas where I was leaving without putting more of the paint. Yeah, these areas, like if you're going to grab your flower, once you did it, you will feel that each petal and each leaf feels like a little bit individual. Like you see this part, they are not loaded with paint in between. So wherever you can use the dark color of a garment as a shade for your work, for your design, do that, because this will give you the leverage of applying less paint layers, and that's what lays with all the other things together, technique and all the stuff, what creates the foundation for the soft, high quality, durable fabric painting.